So, hey, brothers and sisters, me, Michael, I'm the Backers of Tennessee YouTube channel. Michael A. Backer 2 on TikTok. Coffee with Christ on Clapper. And Michael A. Backer on Facebook. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you about what's been going on. And I'm going to share some pictures. I'm going to share these pictures, but I want you to understand that these pictures that I share may not always be suitable for all audiences, especially all children. So I just want to start off by saying I stopped working temporarily in September. I went on short-term disability for my job to have surgery on my shoulder, and I was working on a journey through that shoulder surgery, but it didn't happen. Things had happened. I had to go for an EKG or stress test and all kinds of things. And I may not be able to get this on TikTok or Clapper, but it's going to be here on YouTube. So anyway, I had to go. And in the midst of the time between when I got the... Let me step back. I had to go for shoulder surgery. First thing, I was supposed to go for an MRI, and they had to find me a large MRI, an open large MRI. I found that, and they did find that I had a massive arthritis in my clavicle and some in my shoulder, and they were going to go ahead and operate on the rotator cuff. Well, then I went for pre-op, and the pre-op came back where the anesthesiologist saw something on the pre-op that he wasn't happy about. So they wanted me to go for a stress test. So now this took about a month's time between when I went for the first pre-op, where they do the testing, they do EKG, they take your blood and all that kind of stuff, blood pressure and all that. And so this was all about a month's time. Then I was scheduled for well, let's go there. Let's go this way a second. I got scheduled for the surgery finally. And that would have been about 2 weeks from when I had cleared for the EKG and was able to go for the surgery. In that time, on October 11th, my grandmother passed away. My 101-year-old grandmother finally went home. And I say finally because she had been suffering from a stroke for the last few years. And many of you have seen the video that I posted regarding her. Amazing lady she was. So anyway, so we had to left on a Friday to go up there to New York for the funeral. And we were there. We arrived there. And then, we arrived there on a Saturday in time to we're trying to get there for my nephew's soccer game, which we'd never been to, but we ended up, because of traffic, getting there late. Sunday went for the wake. Monday was the funeral. While I was there, I had started to get sick. I was sick. At first, I thought it was from something that I ate after the wake. We had stopped at a Wendy's on the way to my sister's house. I thought maybe it was something I ate there. And I started getting sick to my stomach. Went to the funeral. I barely was able to move at all. The wake services in Manhattan. Went to the funeral. Was doing okay, and I hadn't eaten. I had not eaten anything since I had that at Wendy's. Like I said, we were on our way to my sister's. And so the funeral came around, went to the burial, and then had repass at my cousin's house out on Long Island. They had an amazing spread of food. They had potato salad, macaroni salad. They had baked ziti. They had a big sub sandwich. And I was so ill, I couldn't eat anything. My wife, Beth, had to drive from Long Island back out to Jersey, where we were staying, at my mother's house, at my sister's house, actually. And then she ended up driving back to here to Tennessee. So we got home on Tuesday. We got home late Tuesday night, went to bed. While I was there, I developed a blister on my foot. It was a blister that was just under, if you could see here, I'll just kind of an idea. It was here, like if this was my foot, okay, where it's bent right there, right? On my big toe, there ended up being a blister. And we thought nothing of it. I thought it was just a blister that I had picked up from walking around in Manhattan in work boots, which is not always a good idea, especially when they're not broken in. I said, okay, I got a blister. Well, that Thursday night, so we got home Tuesday. Wednesday was fairly decent. Didn't walk around much, letting the blister heal. Thursday night into Friday, that Thursday night, from going from my room to the bathroom and back, that blister burst and bled bad. So Beth wrapped it up, and we were just going to see how it did. Maybe go to like a little clinic or something, or urgent care on that Friday. Now, that Friday, I was already scheduled. So I was already scheduled for pre-op, the second pre-op for the shoulder, because the first one was so far back, they wanted to do a second one. So they did the second one. While we were there at the pre-op, it was in the hospital, a Methodist hospital here in Oak Ridge, and my foot started hurting. And before we left that Friday morning, we had noticed, and put my socks on, that it was bleeding bad, and that my toe had blown up. I mean, it was greenish, yellowish. It was definitely infected bad. So and I was still throwing up from the beginning of the week. So I said to my daughter Kaya, who drove me into the pre-op, or for the pre-op, let's just walk right over to the emergency room and we'll get it checked. Worst things worse, they'll send us home. Tell me to take antibiotics. Well, in the emergency room, in the waiting room, we were there for maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Meanwhile, I was still puking. I think I filled like 3 or 4 of those green bags that they give you at the emergency rooms now to throw up in. And finally get into the emergency room inside the ER. And a very good doctor by the name of Dr. Christensen came in, foot doctor. And he came in and he looked at it and he said, that we had to, sorry, I keep looking around. I'm at a shopping center here, watching people come by, all walks of life. Anyway, so Dr. Christensen said that we had to go in at least clean the infection out. He said that I would be admitted regardless to the hospital on IV antibiotics. Probably be there for quite some time. He did say that we'll take you into the operating room. We will clean out that infection. And he said, he was straightforward, and I'm so appreciative of him for saying it. But he said that I may or may not come out with a toe. That's how bad it was. So within an hour of being in that hospital, in that emergency room, I was wheeled into the OR to take care of that. The doctor had said that it was a very bad runaway gangrene infection. He said I may have just picked it up somewhere along the trip, there and back. I'm thinking there I picked it up, and it got in somehow, or it was just maybe, I don't know. But once that blister burst, that was its way in. And it got into deep. It got in deep. Dr. Christensen said there's a sheath around the tendons that helps, with the attachment, kind of like a protection of the tendons there. The infection had got into that, got into the bone, got into my toe, and lo and behold, I came out of the surgery without a toe. I remember when he said that, I remember going into the operating room saying, God, your will be done. Whatever has to happen to make it better, let it happen. Came out. First person I remember seeing that I knew was my daughter, Kaya, my oldest daughter, who was with me for hours upon hours that day. And I remember looking over towards her and saying to her, Kaya, or quietly, I didn't even say it loud. I was still drugged. I said, Kaya, did they take my toe? She said, yes. I had a sudden depression, I guess, like an acute depression, I guess, because I wasn't depressed. It was like wind come out of my sails. And I was like, within seconds after that, I'm like, okay, so I lost my toe. And I just got to get healed and get back to it. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been getting this healed. I've gone, now that week I was in the hospital, I had 2 other surgeries. I had a surgery to finish cleaning out the infection. And then I had a 3rd surgery to close up. They did a skin graft. They put skin graft that was made from stem cells. Put that on there, close that up. That has been healing fantastic. The wound that they left part open so infection can, whatever infection was left, can just drain out. As I'm on antibiotics orally now, was on IV antibiotics for an entire week in the hospital. And so now it's healing. And I will attach to this the pictures of the toe. What you'll see is the progression from the first post-op appointment back at the doctor's. I didn't have pictures. I don't think I do. If I have a picture of what it looked like first before the surgery, I will post it with this video. And that's why I say that it may not be appropriate for some children or some people to look at. But I want to share this. I believe that the people that have subscribed to our page, I usually post something, and I haven't posted anything new quite some time. And so I want to share this with you. I think you should know. I believe you should know. And I just want to be transparent. You folks who subscribe to our channel have taken the time to watch our videos and to subscribe to our channel. So I think that I should share this with you. But I do want to say, I want to get into it too. I want to say that I was on the 4th floor of Methodist Medical Center, room 462. And I have to say that the nursing staff that I had at room 462 was the absolute best, utmost, second to none nursing staff I ever know. And I was in the hospital a couple times, and they were the best. There was a feller by the name of Hoyle. Hoyle, if you ever get to see this, I just want you to know, in my heart, I love you, buddy. You were just so kind and so nice to me, and I will never forget that. And I'll never forget your name because I always thought it was unique. Hoyle. I don't know your last name, but I do know your first name. And if it was up to me, you would be Employee of the Year. Now, long story short, Hoyle and I had a connection because we had a common with our toe. I'll leave it at that. He was the kind of guy who he'd walk past the room, and he'd say, and I make sure, I'm not Mr. Backer, I was Mike. And he would walk by, kind of look in, I kind of ask him, and he knew he'd give me a cup of coffee. He was a good guy. He would come in, he would sit with me for a few minutes, talk with me for a few minutes, and since we had that in common, it was something that I could grasp onto, and one of the reasons why I didn't grow into a depression over losing my toe. Because I know a lot of folks that have an amputation issue become depressed. And I can understand why. There's a few times that I thought about it, that, man, it would hit me for a minute. But I would think, you know what? No. I'm not going to. Because, number one, and I think the reason I was able to fight that off a little bit was because I had a great support group. The support group at the hospital, my kids and my wife were extremely amazing through this whole thing. I had to come home for 4 weeks of non-weight bearing. So I was constantly in a wheelchair and or on the scooter thing. And they were constantly having to help me. I was home with a vacuum wound vac. And so they had to help me changing that and taking care of that. My wife was absolutely amazing. God certainly blessed me with my wife, Beth. I think if it was somebody else, I'm not saying this for sure, but I think if it wasn't my wife, Beth, and it was somebody else, I wouldn't have gone through it. I would not have gotten through it with a sane mind. I would have not gotten through it without being the same Michael that I went into it with, or as. It was her that kept me going. It's her that held my hand. It was her that would brush my hair or scratch my back, change the vac, make sure I ate, make sure I had my medicine. It was all on her. And she was a doll. I fell in love with her more through this than I think I was before. And I love her so much. My children, my daughter Kaya was there with me from the moment we went to the emergency room to the evening after they got me in the room after surgery. She was there with me for 14 hours, that kid, at 18 years old. And she had to be the one to hear from the doctor that they had to take my toe off. I was blessed to have her, and I love her so much. Her and I don't always see eye to eye. I think it's because we have the same mindsets as each other. But we same personality, different ideas, same personality. But she was absolutely amazing, this kid. And concerned. I've never seen her so concerned. I felt so bad that she, as an 18-year-old kid, had to endure with this. My daughter, Lexa was good at getting Daddy a drink, getting Daddy a book to read, getting Daddy whatever Daddy needed. As far as the wound goes, it's not her thing, and I don't blame her. But I love her so much. She was such a help. My son, Anthony, he was always there to help push my wheelchair, even through football practice, to the football games, back from the football games, always there to set up the wheelchair, put the wheelchair in the car. I mean, lift me if I had to be lifted, do whatever heavy lifting that I couldn't do at the time. Even changed the wound vac for me a few times because he was there. He happened to be there. Funny story, this is on a different video, we'll tell you, but they had trouble with the wound vac, getting it to where I can get home with it. And when they finally did it, the doctor showed Anthony, my son, 16-year-old kid, how to change the wound vac, and he had to learn. And he helped do it when we were at home and when they had to do it at home, which is normally for the nurses to do. But he was amazing. Hang on, I'm recording something, so just a second. So the three of them and my wife, my in-laws, they were all amazing. The church was absolutely great. With prayers, with kind words, and all that kind of stuff. They were just absolutely amazing. The nursing staff that come to the house have not had a problem with them. It was just something that could have been a horrible experience has absolutely been a fairly pleasant experience. And today my daughters here took me out to lunch at Wendy's. Maybe not the best choice of foods, but you know what? It was pretty good. Anyway, so that's what is going on. I had that done. Had a great recovery. Soon I'll get back to work. Oh, and by the way, I've yet to have the shoulder surgery. Who knows when that's going to happen, because the original doctor going to do it is retiring after the first of the year. And I won't be ready for it until after the first of the year. So who knows when that's going to happen, how it's going to happen. If it's ever going to happen, I don't know. But that's on hold for now. What'd you do?
Sorry, I was trying to bend down to grab a bag and I hit it on the holder.
Oh. So Kaya's got trauma. Anyway, so that's what's going on with that. So I will share a few pics. Like I said, it may not be appropriate for kids.
Careful, I got back injury.
Yeah, Lex is sick. And so, I guess this is part 2. I don't know. But anyway, so if YouTube thinks it's not appropriate, I'm sure they'll do something about it. They always do. They always get me for music that's not mine. I think the last thing I posted, they got me for uncopyrighted music or something like that. I don't know. YouTube sucks that way. Anyway, so that's that. Any update? If there's any updates now, I do have to go for a 4th surgery on Monday, and I may post about that. I don't know. But that's that. That's where we've been. That's what's been going on, and we're recovering, and we will continue to recover, and hopefully continue building the channel. But anybody, if you hear this, if you see this, anybody who's been involved in this, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank the nursing staff. I thank my entire family. And if you were part of the church milestone and you see this, thank you so much for your prayers and your help with my family. And I didn't mention that the 4 of them and my son's girlfriend, Mandy, every night came by to visit me in the hospital. I could count on them coming there. And I could know for sure that I was going to have somebody come visit because I knew at some point in the night that they were going to come and visit. And I was so happy to see them every time. May not have shown that, but I was very happy to see them every time. Anyway, so that's what's been going on. Sit back. I hope I hope somebody gets something out of this. To just be careful. Be careful with your health. If you're diabetic, take care of yourself. Take care of your feet. It's so important. Constantly check your sugars. Be on top of that. I know this was not diabetic related, but the diabetes certainly did not help. So anyway, so that's that. We'll see you soon, and thanks for watching. So today, I go for what I hope is going to be the final surgery. I get there at 4 o'clock in the office surgery. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Ideally, they're going to straighten the 4 remaining toes in my foot where the big toe was taken off. So that's today, December the 5th, I believe today is. So anyway, you'll come along on the journey for this, and we'll see where it goes. Well, so the straightening is done. I had to return the vac. I still got the scooter. I had to return the vac. Being discharged from the home health care, and it's just going to be changing the bandage, watching the infection occurs, and then just a matter of healing. And hopefully we'll get back to work soon, and this will all be over. This nightmare of an issue. Hey, thank you. Have a great day. All right, so praise God. All the praise to Him, our answered prayers. The doctor will release me to go back to work. It probably will be a week from now. It'll probably be like one more week off, depending on how fast that all goes. And so I'll get to go back to work. I'm excited. Praise to God. That was my prayer today, to go back to work. And God has answered that prayer. God answers prayers all the time, people. We just gotta thank Him. That's all I can say. This has been a tough journey. It's still going on, though. It's not over. It's just the part of getting back to work right now. And then we'll see where we go from there. Well, as you can tell, today's the day I get back to work. Feels so good to be productive. I'm not totally healed. That's coming. We do have an update tomorrow. But as of right now, this nightmare is coming to an end. We will update you as time goes on. And any other news, any other updates, it'll be shared. But as for now, the beginning of the end starts today. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.